Hi, I'm Maisano from myrealities.com. Today I want to introduce you to my new book, A Love Destiny, Mary's unusual love story that transcended time and space. This is my first novel written with my co-author Charles Rappaport. You might be wondering why a love story written by two people. And here is how we did it. We came up with the first draft of this book through meditation. So I was the meditation facilitator while my co-author Charles Rappaport was the meditator. Our first session started in 2008 last year in March, and we finished the first draft within 2 months. In our method of writing, I will facilitate the meditation and Charles would go into the meditative state of mind. He can do it really fast in a matter of seconds. So during this meditation, he will read out the entire book to me. And then later we transcribe that and we obtained our first draft within 2 months. Why we decided to use meditation to write this book? Because I believe time does not exist and there are higher realities, higher dimensions, higher realms. This idea is not new. It's been heavily discussed and utilized in the spiritual field as well as quantum physics. I believe that this book, Love Destiny, that we wanted to write already exists in the higher realities, in the higher realms, in the higher dimensions. The information is all there. What we needed to do is to bring forth that information into physical reality. So that's what we did through meditation. It is not to prove anything. It's not to prove that higher realms exist or that information, whatever information you want to obtain is already exists in a higher existence. We're not trying to approve any of that. All we want to do is utilize that knowledge, to utilize the spiritual knowledge, utilize the quantum physics knowledge for our daily life. In this case, for the purpose of writing a book. Where we get the inspirations or the ideas for the content of this book? The inspiration we got for this book was from a real story that indeed happened. You know, I was bilingual. I was born and raised in China for 23 years and then I came to America. Because of my multicultural background, I'm opened up to multiple cultures. So I understand the Chinese literature, I understand the Chinese community firsthand. So I learned about this real story from a Chinese community of this young Chinese guy. He was young back in the 80s anyways. He was in the military, but because of a sexual scandal that he was involved in, he was expelled from the military and his family cut tie from him. So his future was totally ruined. He had no future. He's in his 20s, but nobody could believe him or nobody would hire him for any job. He wanted to change his life and he think that if he goes abroad, that will ultimately change his life. So that's what he wanted to do. And on the other side of the world, in America, in California, there was an older Hollywood celebrity who was famous back in the 30s and 40s. She's in her late 60s. Her beloved husband passed away. She was very sad, and in one of her dreams, she dreamed of her husband who passed away, riding a horse, moving away from her. And she was so excited to see him, so she called out his name in her dream, and the guy turned around and she saw a handsome Chinese face. That's where she got her intuition from. She knew that her next lover would come from China. From her intuition obtained from her dream, she embarked on a journey to China looking for the young guy who appeared in her dream. And that's where fate brought them together, a young Chinese guy who has no future and an older American celebrity. And she fell in love with him at first sight. She knew that was the guy. After a few years, after back and forth, after many things happened, she finally brought him to America as her adopted son and lover. They lived a secret life for 15 years until 1 month before she passed away, she officially married him so that he could inherit her vast wealth. After her death, he went back to China with a lot of money and he never married again. From this Chinese man's perspective, he felt he never loved this elderly lady, but he felt obliged to her because she helped him change his life. He wanted to be of help to this American elderly woman. But from the American woman's perspective, it was true love, that she truly loved him and spared nothing. So that's where I got the inspiration from for the book, for my novel, A Love Destiny. Even though I got inspirations from a real story, this fictional story is a story of its own. It took on a life of its own. When we started the meditation to start writing this book, we had the intention, we had the inspiration, we want to recapture the spirit in the story and the message contained in the story. We never dictated how things should go, what events should happen, what happens first and next. So the story was flowing out through meditation. In this meditation, my co-author Charles just spoke out the words automatically in a coherent story. And it's written with the tone of an American elderly Hollywood star. How she started her life, how she became famous, how she was seeking love by finding no true love until much later in life, and how she was judged so harshly by society, by other people, and how she overcame all of that and eventually came to the realization that her love was destiny. Her love with a much younger Chinese guy was of fate. The universe brought them together for their mutual benefits. Even though it's a love story, it's a very clean romance. You won't see any sensual scenes. That's not the point of this book. And the point of this book is, I believe, is for inspirations, for teaching us what love is and how love transcends everything. And now go on Amazon.com and type in my name, Sue Maisano, M-A-I-S-A-N-O, and you will see this book. Get a copy of this book, read it, and let me know how you feel.